Welcome to the Not My Scene podcast, the podcast where we explore different scenes, communities, subcultures, and corners of the internet and tell you what we find. I'm Yarden.
And I'm Frodo Baggins. Welcome to the Renaissance Fair. And that's like not his voice at all.
Please talk in that voice the whole episode.
It's an entirely new voice. It's not Frodo. It's not mine. It's just something new I've created to get around the copyright with Lord of the Rings. Not giving Elijah Wood at all.
Do you want to explain to people that aren't seeing you what you look like right now?
Sure. Well, okay, I'll explain how this came to be, and then you can explain what you're seeing, if that sounds good.
Okay.
Describe me. Tell me what you're wearing. Basically, Yarden texted me like half an hour ago and was like, should we do a video podcast where we're sitting in our chairs? And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But I've been procrastinating what to do with my Frodo Baggins Halloween costume. And it's been sitting in the chair where we record. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to have to put my costume somewhere. And then I was like, wait, I have 15 minutes and I can just throw this thing on very easily. So I thought it was appropriate for the Renaissance Fair theme to wear a pointed ear and get in the spirit of fantasy. So that's how this came to be.
You definitely could wear that to a Renaissance fair. It seems like
For
the
sure.
guidelines are pretty loose on like what qualifies as Renaissance.
I think so.
If I were to describe what I'm seeing, it's like pretty much just like a really cute boy. And I'm nervous.
Yeah. And if I were to describe what I'm feeling, it would basically be like gender euphoria. I told Donna I was going to surprise you, and she was like, Den's jaw is going to drop because of what a handsome boy is in front of her.
Yeah, and I still haven't picked it up.
Okay, well, I've kind of spoiled what we are here discussing, but before we get into the wonderful world of Renaissance fairs, part 1, Den, it's been so long since I've seen this beautiful face untarnished by boyish makeup intended to look like Frodo. Tell me how you are. What's your scene?
I'm good, and I'm sorry. I do have a little bit of a cough, so I'm gonna try to mute when I'm coughing. But
Okay.
That's where I'm at health-wise. My scene has been Pop Star Academy KATSEYE, and I am really excited to talk to you about this, and also like kind of shocked that you are not the one bringing it to me, because I just feel like you would be plugged in, given you are more into K-pop and your scene last time. But definitely curious to hear like what your exposure to KATSEYE has been.
Okay, I can start there. I thought I had like no exposure to KATSEYE, except I had this like general sense that they were a K-pop band. And I was talking to my sister Fran about it, and she's a K-pop expert and Gen Z expert. And I was asking her about if she liked KATSEYE, and she was like, well, KATSEYE isn't really K-pop, which first of all, I did not know that. I don't know if that's news to you, but apparently not considered K-pop technically. And she told me that it's funny, we actually had a conversation about KATSEYE like I think at this point 2 years ago when I was visiting her in Ecuador. She was like telling me about how excited she was because there was this like new show where they were going to put together a K-pop band from like across the world, and that feels like a distant dream. And now we have like KATSEYE at Coachella and all of that. So I don't really know anything about it, but she was like, yeah, like it's the band from that show. Remember the show we talked about 2 years ago once? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I do remember that. But that's it. I've never heard a song or anything.
I mean,
I'm
definitely very late to it, given like real stans, like, or people that are in the know about K-pop and K-pop adjacent things knew about it when it was like happening live 2 years ago.
Happening live, who knows if it was actually going to be a success? Like you can have an American Idol type show and then no one ever listens to David Archuleta again. But like
That's why
this
I was
they're
kind
at
of
Coachella.
shocked that it actually worked so well, but I guess that's more normal in the K-pop world. Back to my scene being Popstar Academy, that's the name of the Netflix like docu-series that follows
Okay.
like the whole creation of KATSEYE, and it like follows like the real time thing that was happening was called Dream Academy. And that's
Yes.
how Cat's Eye formed, like from a group of 20 people. And then they
I
had,
remember Fran voting on like
yeah,
people who applied, which is so fun. Like K-pop of the people.
yeah, but I think it is like kind of common in Korea, from what I've learned from that show, to have these groups form from like a survival show. And okay, but back to the definition of K-pop. This is something like I'm still confused on. I mean, definitely throughout the show, they were calling it K-pop, but also they kept being like, we're doing K-pop without the K. I'm like, okay,
Pop.
so just pop. There's something called that. But it was like formed by the big K-pop label, and they do follow a lot of the K-pop like stylings. Um,
Mm.
like it's really focused on dance and like the visual aspect. I only got into Cat's Eye from watching the show. Like no shade, like the songs are not that good to me.
By the
But a lot
visual
of
aspect, do you mean just like that they're all really hot? Or do
and
you
like
mean
the
like the
dancing,
visuals on stage? Okay.
like the dance, like the show. I feel like was like 70% focused on dance. Like the first half of it at least. So it started even like a year before they started the public facing like voting and elimination. They had a group of 20 girls, and I mean like girls, they were like 15 to 20 years old, training. And it seemed like they were mostly picking girls and focusing on dance, and like singing was such an afterthought, which is funny because it's like it's isn't it supposed to be like a music singing group, but I guess not. That's not what it is. It's like it's basically like you're going to see a dance show but with original songs.
Yeah. And like theoretically, it could even be like a Lizzie McGuire situation where we find out that there's someone like singing backstage and the K-pop people are just like lip syncing on stage and dancing their little hearts out.
Yeah, for sure. But in the show, they were evaluated every week, like in the training, based on dancing, singing, and visual.
That's like
it,
face, right? If dancing is already a category.
yeah, it's are they giving vibes and are they hot and can we make them like into a look that we think will resonate with an audience. But the last thing I'll say about Cat's Eye is it's just crazy how like quickly I got obsessed, like from literally being like, I don't really understand what Cat's Eye is, to like binging the show in 2 days, crying during several episodes, and then like immediately like my social feeds became all Cat's Eye. Like
Okay, I
it's
want to experience
crazy.
that too. I would like
And
to be in that state of mind. Imagine if we took like Boy Genius and made them do like a K-pop machine year training boot camp. Like what
that
would
would be
come out?
hilarious. We
Do
should
you
get
think
to
that
vote on like random celebrities that have to do this.
dude, that is such a good show idea. We'll cut this
Yeah.
out. Claro
They're
in
$1,000,000
K-pop boot
ideas.
camp, Claro and Laufey, and then that's not how you say her name.
Lepe.
But like other like Zara Larson is like put me in. Like I've
Oh
been
yeah.
living in boot camp for like 20 years.
Yeah, but we're
Um
also putting in like random like actors. Like
yeah, we are. Oh yeah, we are. We're putting in
we're putting
Barry
in
Keoghan.
yes, and like
We're
Paul Mescal.
yeah, we're putting in Paul Mescal. He'll be getting a 10 in looks. This is a really interesting idea that I think we should explore further at a later time.
Me too.
Executives, call us. We don't know really anything about K-pop, but Yarden cried watching Popstar Academy, and we have a really good idea for you. And I'm from Middle Earth. I don't even know what K-pop is. Okay, well, I'll do my scene really fast. Okay, my scene this week is juggling, which isn't something that I've really done much since high school. But I was out with my friends this past weekend, and I we were waiting for a dinner reservation. We put our name on a wait list to get into a restaurant, and there was this like park across the street, and it was really dark out because of the fact that it is winter. And there was a pop-up like circus arts school happening in the park, which is so relevant to today's episode. And we went over there, and it was really fun, and they had all of these like glow in the dark juggling balls and glow in the dark bowling pins that you could juggle, and glow in the dark twirling staffs. And the people who were like regulars there were definitely of the Renaissance type. They were Renaissance men and women, and they thems, and they were really fun and like exciting and theatrical and really good teachers. And they started teaching me like new juggling tricks, and anyways, it just kind of reinvigorated my love of juggling. And it's one of those things where, like, for example, when we got Olive, my cat, like the first few days, Hannah was like, I never have to look at my phone again. I can just stare at Olive. Like, there's a live cat here that I can just look at now. And that's kind of how I feel about juggling now. It's like, why be
Wow.
on my phone? I can just pick up 3 balls and have fun with them. And,
Can you
you
still
know,
do it?
and they were teaching me
That's
how
so
to
cool.
do overhand juggling. I think we learned underhand, but you can go like this with the balls.
It's
Not good for an audio
fun.
medium, but it was really fun, and it was a great community. Sadly, they were like, this is the last free circus class of the year, but I encourage everyone to seek out free circus classes in their area. It was really fun, and it really made me feel like a maker, like someone who uses their hands and is like,
Ooh,
you know what I
like
mean? Like, it was
tactile.
super tactile. Yeah. So, juggling.
So you're gonna start just juggling around the house with balls that you have
Mm-hmm. I
and
haven't yet,
fruits.
but I will with fruits.
So you haven't been on your phone since.
I haven't juggled since. I've definitely been on my phone since, but let's check in a few
once
weeks.
once you start juggling though, it's all over.
All over. Once I start staring at Olive and juggling, you can just get rid of my dang phone. I don't need it.
That reminds me of when I worked at the academic camp and that summer, and there was that
Mm-hmm.
girl who was like into circus arts that I worked with. Do you remember? And she was like, one time we were waiting for the bus together, and she was like, do you want a toy to play with, or do you I can't remember the word she used. It was like, do you want a
I do
toy to play
remember
with,
this.
or do you feel like being like internal right now, or something like that.
That's
And
so. And what was you said I want a toy?
I was like, I have to say a toy because I don't want to say I want to be internal. But I did. I didn't want to
She
juggle
definitely
in
would have
front of her.
respected it. Did she give you juggling balls?
Something like similar. It was like something that I could not do. It was like, okay.
It was a unicycle.
It's like,
It
no,
was
I feel
still.
like being on my phone.
I feel like being internal right now. It's funny to characterize anything as a toy when you're an adult.
Mm-hmm. But it is.
Like, my phone is kind of a toy.
Yeah, when it's for Candy Crush.
Mm-hmm. Are you any new toys in your life? I have one I can think of.
No. What about you?
We have a balance board in my house right
Oh, that
now.
is a toy. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
You you never need to go on your phone. You can just be on the balance board juggling, looking at Olive.
3 toys at once. Toys, toys, toys. Burn my phone. If anyone needs to get a hold of me, they can just throw a juggling ball through my bedroom window. And that's how I'll contact them now. Or they can reach me through Olive. Okay.
Perfect.
Should we get into it?
Yeah. Okay. So, part one of our Renaissance Fair episode, we decided to split this into two. And in part two, we're going to talk more about the dark underbelly of the Renaissance Fair. I know.
Stop. I was going to say dark underbelly. Read my mind.
Only one way to put it, really, and get a little more into behind the scenes. But we're going to talk about more of the fun side of Renaissance Fair today and Kai's experiences there. And we also have an interview from a professional performer.
Woo! No being internal today, ladies and gents. Okay, yeah, Renaissance fairs. I have been to two Renaissance fairs. Both of them were the Northern California Renaissance Fair. I've gone 2 years in a row. I think I had an idea of what a Renaissance fair would be like after growing up on Vashon in like a very kind of circus forward community and also doing things like going to the Oregon Country Fair with you, which maybe we can
Yeah.
talk about when we talk about Ren Fair experiences. But I had never been to a Ren Fair proper until like 2 years ago. And I think that it did surprise me in some ways, in that at least the Renaissance Fair that I went to, I don't think that it like entirely struck the balance between kind of artistic and like community minded and more kind of corporate. I think it's hard because like on the one hand, Renaissance fairs are really fun because you get to dress up and you get to engage with people in a really crazy way. Like everyone is just, it's kind of like you're like playing a video game and you like walk through the town and the NPCs are like, would you like to go on a quest? Or like, look at the jugs on you, my lady, or like whatever.
They say
um
stuff like that?
yeah, they say stuff like that. And we can get more specifically into some of the more body things that people have said to me at Renaissance fairs because I do want to talk about that. Um but I think the like kind of improvisational, like really having to interact with strangers part is generally fun, although it depends what they're saying to you. But then on the other side, it's like everything there is really expensive. And there definitely are a good amount of stalls that are like, okay, this is like the same quilted jacket that you can get at like any street fair. There aren't people selling like labubus there like there might be at some street fairs, but it definitely is like a very expensive thing to go to unless you want to like bring your own food and be like sober, which is that's cool too. But also it can be kind of hard to feel comfortable interacting with all these people
For how
if
to
you're
have your
not
jugs commented on while you're sober.
without a jug of mead of your own. Yeah. So I don't know, it kind of goes back and forth for me. Like I think that the Northern California Renaissance Fair is really fun, but I would love to have a an opportunity to experience like a more off the
Like a
grid,
local, yeah.
like a local, yeah. What I will say though is the shows are really good, and the my favorite thing about the Renaissance Fair by far is the jousting. And I feel like that requires a certain level of like financial support and structure because they have like live horses and this like
Yeah.
whole horse track with this like intense setup where they're like riding their horses at each other and knocking shields with big jousting sticks, and no one's getting cut in half or having their horse's head chopped off mountain style in Game of Thrones, but it feels close to that. And you have your like mug of mead and you get to cheer for your knight, and it's all very medieval times, you know. So
No,
that's
that sounds
definitely like
very
my
fun.
favorite thing that I did. Yeah.
Yeah, the interactive experience. That really just reminded me of the Haunts episode because we were talking about how there isn't really any other thing that's like that, but it seems like this is where there's that element of spontaneity and people and character that could do or say anything to you and you're kind of like a character in a movie or something.
Definitely. It's yeah, it's weird. Like I don't know. I'm not someone who typically is like interacting with people that I'm walking by on the street or like striking up conversations with strangers. So it is really funny to be in an environment like that where like everyone has their little theme or character or bit, and then you can walk up and just engage with it, and it's encouraged. I don't know,
Is
it's
it
weird.
super easy to tell like who's there as like a official performer and who's just someone else that's a patron in a costume?
It's pretty easy. I think for a few reasons. One, like at least in my experience, the performers normally kind of like stay in particular areas, whereas everyone else is like moving through either like
Mm-hmm.
walking through the fair or like in line to get something. Also, performers, I think people tend to go in like pairs or groups. And if someone's like sitting at the wishing well alone, or like, yeah, it's pretty easy to tell. Like the people who are just like standing in the fair for the most part are they're either in like bigger communal areas where it's like, okay, this is an area where you can like interact with people in character, or they're like at the front of the fair when you come in and it's like really clear because they're like facing you, not facing the way to walk in. And then there's the people in the shows, but obviously like that's clear.
Yeah. Okay, so you've been twice.
I've been twice. The first time I went, it was so hot. It was like 100 degrees and it was super dusty and everyone is in was in like layered long skirts and corsets and I had my pointed ears on and I
Mm-hmm.
just felt like so oh, I got to get this off.
No, that's something the performers we
Yeah.
talked about. I feel like they kept bringing up like the heat.
Yeah, it's kind of like gross and fun. Ren fairs are definitely bawdy, like BAWDY. And I really got that characterization when I listened to the podcast The Ride episode on Ren fairs, which centers on the Southern California Pleasure Fair,
It's
which
called
is
the
like the big Ren
pleasure
fair.
fair.
It's called the Pleasure Fair. We're going to talk about that more in episode 2 because I did a deep dive into
Yeah.
like where that fair came from, but a lot of Ren fairs were originally called pleasure fairs, but I
Mm.
think with the commercialization of the fair, it's now more of them are called Renaissance fairs for whatever reason. But yeah, it is like kind of weird because I think on the one hand, there's something like very childlike about Ren fairs. And there's definitely kids that go. Like it feels like field trip opportunity, but also people are being like very hedonistic there. And it's like an interesting, it's also like very, I think in some ways heteronormative. Like maybe it's becoming less like that and you have like non-binary people dressing up like elves or like Frodo Baggins, but yeah, it's definitely like boobs forward.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I guess it's cool to me that it seems like fun for all ages. Like there's definitely a lot of adult fun with like the sexy, inappropriate shows and all the drinking. And then, like, also kids love it because it's people dressed up and doing play fighting and all of that. So it's fun that it's like for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, theoretically.
But you don't think it's for everyone.
No, I do think it's for everyone, but well, I think we should talk about this more in the
Okay.
context of the second interview, but
Yeah.
I think there's like kind of a tension there because definitely like some people are attracted to the fair for the bodiness of it.
Hmm.
And or I think a lot of people are, but maybe it like some
Yeah.
people
I
are
mean,
like really there for that.
I what my exposure has been like a lot of just like those TikToks of people getting the drinks poured in their mouths by like a sexy barmaid who's like being
Yes.
like, "You like that, don't you?"
It's funny too because they stopped doing the first year I went, they were doing that, and the second year I went, they weren't doing that. And I kind of wonder if that's related to the Haunts episode, if that's part of the like they were getting too sexualized on TikTok or whatever, and so the barmaids are not like pouring the drinks out of their boobs anymore because they were not
Yeah.
doing that this year.
I mean, it definitely seems like deliberately sexy, but I get that they wouldn't want to be like all over TikTok.
Yeah, totally. Okay, the so I think the most body. So basically, I walk into the Ren Fair. I'm having fun. We're doing
This is your first
laps.
time.
This is my first time. I went in with kind of a No, I was gonna say I went in with a group of introverts, but not really. This first time, it was like a pretty mixed bag of extroverts, introverts, but I was like, I'm going to go hard at this Ren Fair. Like, I want to have crazy experiences and interact with funny people. And I feel like you can't just go there and like have your head down and be like, I'm just here for the shows. It's kind of expensive. So I wanted to get
Yeah.
my money's worth of funny interactions. And I was having fun. We were going to different shows. The shows are like, there's this guy at the Northern California Renaissance Fair who's actually like an insane sword swallower. It's so scary and crazy. And I think he's definitely like a pro. Like, I think he does that all year and goes year, show to show, fair to fair with it because it's like such a specific talent. And then we get some mead. We're heading over to the jousting area, and there's this older guy standing outside. And he has like he's like grandpa age, and he has like a big beard. And there were all of these little wildflowers kind of that he had pulled through his beard so that it was like this beard of little flowers, like buttercups and stuff.
And
And
he's part of the fair.
yeah, he has like a basket of flowers. He's like interacting with people. And I went up to him and I was like, I love your beard. Let's like, so could we take a photo together or something? And it was all a trap because then he said yes. And as we were taking the photo together, he says, I'm sure I would love your beard too. Can I take a look? And then I was like, ah. And I had to get the hell out of there. I
Is
mean, I
that
just
like a
laughed.
joke about pubes?
Yeah. Like he had done this whole thing adorning his beard so that like girls would come up to him and then
And
he could
say, I
make
like
jokes
your
about,
beard.
yeah, and then he'd be able to say, I want to see your beard or like things of that nature. Like, does yours have flowers too? Whatever. Like, so it was
So
all about pubes.
it was all
Um,
about pubes.
and yeah, that definitely gave me the shivers a little bit in a bad way. It gave me the shivers, derogatory. And it was weird because he was like such a cute old man. And obviously, it's like just a bit, but also you can't turn that off entirely. Like, it's not like he's just like the most stone cold guy and they're like, this is your line. You're the beard guy this year. Like, that guy must be a kind of a little freak, right? To
He
be like, I want
probably
to be
was
the,
like, I'm going to the Ren Fair every day this season to do my beard bit.
yeah. But like, I'm just imagining if I was like working at the Ren Fair and camping in a campground with him, like, is that someone that I'd want to be like hanging out with? Or is it like, this dude's a perv?
I don't know. Probably
To
some
make
people like,
beard, to make a pube joke your whole bit,
no, it's a lot.
it's kind of a lot. And
Maybe
I
he
feel
has
like I was
other
deceived
jokes.
by his yeah, maybe he doesn't always put
I mean,
flowers in
I'm
his
sure,
beard.
like, no, I mean, like, maybe he has other responses to I like your beard. Like, I'm sure, like, when a kid says that, he says something else.
Yeah. When a kid says that, he's like,
He's silent and
do you have a
stone-faced.
beard too? Are you gay?
Ugh.
Or what? He's silent and says what?
He's just silent and stone-faced when a kid says, I like your beard. He has no response and he's shut down.
Or he just is like, my what? Pretends he doesn't know what a beard
He
is.
rips all the flowers out.
He rips his pants off and is like, wait, you can see my beard?
Help.
Or I guess he would pull on another pair of pants, actually. So the kid says,
He
I
would
like your
cover
beard.
he
Yeah,
would
he would
cover his
cover his
crotch.
crotch.
That's probably one of his other responses, like to adults.
Yeah. Wow, we got there
We
so
came up with
fast.
one.
Uh-huh.
These things are
Yeah.
themselves.
So that kind of freaked me out, but it was, it was all in good fun. I was just, as we were preparing for the episode, I was thinking back to that experience and being like, it was all in good fun, but he must have had some creative agency to decide that would be his part that year. So there's definitely some crazy little freaky people that go. But then we went to the jousting. It was really fun. They say like this side of the arena, this is your night. The other side, this is your night. And then I think it was like 1 p.m. It was 100 degrees and we got the hell out of there. And the main contrast, I would say, the second time I went was that the night on my side this year was a girl, which was really fun and exciting.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
lady night.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was your first experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what was your recent one?
Honestly, recent one was pretty similar, and it kind of made me think like I don't know. I don't know. It was just kind of like all the same. I did see some new shows, but like the layout is the same. And I feel like if you're going to be a repeat customer to the same fair, I almost feel like you need to the second time around I was kind of like, "Oh, I wish I was like camping here." I don't think they have a camping option, but like I wish
Mm,
there was a way for me to get like deeper into the fair because this is like kind of just like the same
yeah.
like I felt like I was just staying at the same level of familiarity with it
I feel like you would
and
have to just drink a lot more or to like change your perception of it. Or like, aren't there like after dark events like raves and such?
yeah, so that is something that came up in the interview, which I'm excited
Yeah.
for us to play. That is not they don't have that at the Northern California
Maybe it's
Renaissance
only
Fair.
places where you can camp there.
I think that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in addition to the beard thing, people were also commenting on your body in weird ways.
Yeah. But it
Hmm.
wasn't that was definitely the one that was the most like I was taken aback. Like I think in general people will just kind of exclaim things like, "Oh, a couple of beauties," like
Hmm. Yeah.
whatever, or like I didn't like they'll call you a wench or stuff. But no, I
Yeah.
don't think at any other point someone was like the knockers on you, whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good.
We went to an adult show and they like really targeted Drew. It was like all these girls. They were called like I don't know, it was like something like the salty sea dog wenches or whatever. And they targeted him and they made some like dick jokes about him. But that was in the context of a show.
So it's fine. Yeah.
So
I
no,
mean,
you can't really argue if it's in the context of a show.
this isn't really something I realized before we did our interviews, but it seems like if you go to one of the like adult shows, you kind of are consenting to like a little like light sexual harassment.
Yeah, I don't think I feel like they're pretty good about like generally like I think if you they came into the crowd and they were like, come on stage, if you were like, no, 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 like they wouldn't make
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
But yeah, you kind of
No,
are
sexual
because
harassment isn't the right word, but like they're gonna make sexual jokes.
it's basically all sexual. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've
I
realized. I
feel
think
like
that originally I was like, ooh, like 21 plus stage, like what's going to be happening there? It will be fun. But I was only really thinking about it in the abstract. And then I got there and it was just all body sex jokes.
it's like,
And
well,
then you're like,
duh.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, like duh. And it's funny because it's like, yeah, normally I wouldn't seek this out. Like I'm not watching like horny cartoons or like pervert, like I'm not like
Okay, shade to
reading
my
like
Family Guy habit.
Okay, actually, no. I mean, I do love Family Guy, but like, I don't know. I don't normally engage with like pervy humor
Yeah.
that much, I guess. And so it's funny, like the draw that the 21 plus stage has, just because you're like, what's happening back there? And then
Hmm.
you go and it's like exactly what you think. Yeah.
It seems really Bob cheese.
It's super Bob cheese. I think that I'm trying to think if there's like anything chuggy about Ren fairs.
Oh, for sure. There must be. I mean,
It definitely
it's
leans
kind of
very Bob
millennial.
cheese. Yeah, kind of. I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know if I would say it's millennial. I feel like it's kind of like removed from
It's
time.
true because it's in a
It's
different
Renaissance.
time. It's
Yeah.
Renaissance.
But I do think this is something I wanted to talk about today. I don't know if this is just my perception as I'm like getting older and looking for like fun things to do and maybe the option just wasn't offered to me as a kid, but I do think that Renaissance fairs are kind of having a moment right now and also we're seeing a general rise in like medieval and Renaissance like type influence in the culture.
Yeah, like everything that Charlie XCX is doing right now.
is so true. And okay, not to make everything about me, but remember when I dressed up as Joan of Arc like 2 years ago for
Mm-hmm.
Halloween before Charlie was
Ahead
even
of the
doing any of the
curve.
stuff? And I'm always getting ads for this Instagram company where it's like baby tees and like little camisoles with illuminations printed on them. Like, you know what illuminations are?
No.
Like, think like medieval book. And like specifically
Mm.
illuminations, I think are when people do, like the first letter has like animals crawling around it and stuff of like a script. Like it would be
Okay,
like
I like that. The ad would
the
work on me.
yeah, it's really cute stuff. Or and like they have a like maxi skirt that has Joan of Arc on it, but it's like a Renaissance painting of her.
Yeah, right now, you're right.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Um and like mead and
I really don't like mead. I would be
oh, I
just
like it.
drinking ale, I guess.
Yeah, you would. I mean, you can get like hazy little thing like Space Dust IPA and stuff there too, for sure. But
I
oh,
wouldn't.
also, I think there's something to be said for like the connection to it's like the rise of medieval stuff and also the rise of like kind of Catholic, like Catholicism
Yeah.
as an aesthetic,
Yeah. I
like people wearing
agree with
rosaries.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, wait, just quickly, how like expensive were the tickets? Or is it just like expensive overall because of everything you buy there?
I think the tickets were like $35 maybe, so pretty
Okay.
expensive.
I mean, that's
Um
not as bad as I thought.
it might be more like 45. I don't know. It's definitely more than it's a significant amount, and then you obviously are like buying stuff there.
Yeah,
But of
yeah.
course, like they need, it seems like a really hard life. It's like a ton of work for these people.
Yeah.
So,
But as we'll get into in part two, like I don't think most of those proceeds are going to the people working the fairs.
oh yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, what about your experience?
So I haven't been to a Renaissance fair.
You are grounded. You are so grounded.
I was going to go prior to this episode and then was not able, so I'm still fiending to go. I guess the closest thing I've done was medieval times, which I talked about in length on a previous episode, which was fun, but it doesn't have any of the spontaneity aspect of the Renaissance fair, so I think there's still a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
And
The like guy selling you the ticket isn't like saying, "Show me your beard."
no, he's just like being a normal mall guy.
Yeah, because you're in the mall.
Yeah. And yeah, we've been to Oregon Country Fair, which I didn't even really, I guess, connect that as something similar. Although now thinking back, like it does have a lot of like circus art performances, which seems
Yeah.
like the overlap, and just like the fact that you're walking around like a dusty grounds.
Yeah. I think that Oregon Country Fair kind of set my standards a little too high because it is such like the layout and like setting for it is so cool.
We gotta go
Um,
back for the pod.
for sure. Do you want to say in like two sentences what it is in case people don't know?
Yeah, I guess because it sounds like it's just like, oh, your regular like country fair, but the Oregon Country Fair is just like a hippie fest. And Kaya and I went like right after we graduated high school, so I don't remember it super well. And just that we were like wandering around in the dust and like in the woods, and there were little stages with performances and like lots of hippie vegan food.
Yeah, and you camped there. It's all on Ken Kesey's land in near Eugene, Oregon. And it definitely we have to do an episode on that because it's definitely like
Yeah,
a community. Like the people
for
who work
sure.
at Oregon Country Fair, it's like really hard to get in and be a worker there.
And then
And
all the workers like get to go to the festival after dark, and I feel like that's like a whole exclusive thing.
totally. Yeah, we should do an episode on that. So I think that is related, and I think that that set my expectations a little high in hoping that the Ren Fair I went to would be like a very community oriented, like more artistic experience. And it certainly is in some ways, but it's also very much like a company's running this. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you interested in going to a Ren Fair?
No, yeah, I am. Like, I really want to. It just hasn't lined up for me.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
We will.
Should we play the interview?
Yeah. Okay, so to start off, could you tell me what you do at Ren Fairs?
Yeah. So, my name is Dana. I go by Bombshell Becky of the Barbarian Bombshell Show. I have been working at the Texas Renaissance Festival for, this is my 10th year, doing the Barbarian Bombshell Show. So, we're one of the like kind of flagshipy
Yeah,
shows.
but you mainly just perform at that one festival. Like, you don't travel around.
Oh, we also travel. Yeah.
Okay, cool. How much of your year is performing at these festivals?
For me personally, a lot of my year is built up doing festival work. Not only do I do the Barbarian Bombshells, but I also run large scale fire shows. So I run Cirque and Destroy, which does arena fire shows. We've done like Oregon and Washington Renaissance festivals and have done their kind of jousting arena end of day fire show expositions.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I do fire and stage.
And how did you get into it? I think you said like 10 years ago, but
That was a while ago. Actually, so I'm kind of pretty deeply embedded, at least at the Texas Renaissance Festival. The one of the performers with a show called Sound and Fury, Ryan Adam Wells, he has been with Sound and Fury for like 20 something years. Long time on that show, and that show's also been has traveled like all over the world doing Sound and Fury. And I was at a dive bar singing karaoke, and he heard me sing karaoke and was like, "Hey, you should audition for this show." So I ended up
oh my God.
auditioning for the Bombshell show. That show's been running since 2014. I have now been on it for 10 years. It's like a 12-year-old show or something.
That's so cool. So you got scouted at karaoke. I guess you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, right? I gotta go get karaoke. Go do it.
Seriously.
Yeah, that sort of started at least that side. And then for the fire, I've done fire spinning for a pretty long time in my life since I was pretty young. And when I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and then I moved to Houston, Texas. And when I moved here, I couldn't find like a centralized community, so I decided to build one. And so I created an event called Cirque and Destroy. And it originally started off as a knife throwing and circus event that kind of evolved into fire. And we did circus meetups every Sunday night in East Downtown. And it was like open to the public, and anyone could come and join and learn different circus arts. So we would like train people and teach people from total beginner all the way up to eventually becoming stage performers. And now people that have like trained with us as Cirque and Destroy have like gone on to do like Universal Studios and traveled all over the world doing fire performing.
How would you describe the culture within the performer community? Do you feel like there is a strong sense of community?
There are factions, I would say, that exist. It really just depends on what you would consider the community to be, because there's kind of like a widely known circuit. There's a Renaissance Festival circuit that a lot of people do, a lot of performers do, where they kind of travel full time year round. You know, they have like an RV or a caravan or however they do it, and they go from fair to fair to fair to fair. And then a lot of them end their year at Texas Renaissance Festival, or they have their homes at Texas Renaissance Festival, because there's like an entire encampment that exists there of Renaissance people, performers, vendors, artisans. And there is a pretty tight community that exists within those who travel around. So like a lot of us kind of know each other or have heard each other or have shared a stage or whatnot of the people that generally do the circuit. And then there's like there's pretty much a Renaissance festival in every corner of the United States at this point,
Yeah.
but not all of them necessarily count as essentially the larger circuit that more or less just follows the sunshine throughout the year.
Right.
You know.
That makes sense. Have you built relationships, friendships through that
Yeah.
community? Yeah.
Well, for us specifically, at least for the Texas Renaissance Festival, I mean, it's honestly, when it comes to the performer side, it is a very kind of an incestuous, like, I know it's like a bold
Yeah.
statement of a community, because a lot of the performers that go on and do other shows, at least for that festival, happen from within, essentially. So it's very difficult, I would say, for that festival to be like um, somebody that's doing something somewhere else and then to try to like apply to get into that festival, as opposed to creating from the inside out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, what can you tell me like about the lifestyle as a performer? Like what kind of hours are you working? What conditions, anything like that?
Oh heavens! So that's actually really crazy right now. I just started a brand new show at the Texas Renaissance Festival as of this year, called Ragnarok, and like this is its infancy. Like we've been going for 10 years, but we just created this new show that's a Viking rock opera that is utilizing another act, like a Nordic music act, and we have like incorporated them into our interactive theater.
Hmm.
And so we're trying to build like a completely new concept and then put it out there. And people don't see the behind the scenes of writing a show, rehearsing a show, building the music, creating the lighting, creating everything that has to do with building a show. I mean, it's literally the same as you would see somebody building a show on a stage or on a Broadway or
Right. Yeah.
anything larger. It's just the interactivity and the difference between that and a Renaissance festival is the interaction that you have, because you really truly don't know that your show is going to work until you do it.
Hmm.
you know
Yeah.
it's so dependent on audience participation and how the crowd receives it, and how you can anticipate your audience to react and to be able to play with you and to make it fun for the audience to be able to play with you,
Right.
kind of
Yeah. You have
thing.
to like experiment.
Hmm.
What is your favorite thing maybe about doing this?
I think it's a really rewarding experience. You get to really exist in a time outside of this reality that we wake up and slog to in our daily lives. I'm a tattoo artist as well, like
Oh,
by
cool.
trade, so I'll do tattoos. I'll still be doing something I love in the real world and still be dreaming of rolling around in the dirt with a bunch of, drunken messes at the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah.
And it's just such a crazy environment that people really get to express themselves in a way that they don't get to be. It's all fantasy, but it's so close to the reality that you get to live being at a Renaissance festival, that I think is such a unique experience, unlike anything else that people really get to see.
Yeah.
And especially
Yeah.
now in the internet age where everybody's so disconnected and the average person can barely make eye contact, and then you go to a Renaissance festival and you adorn this fairy look, and you meet up with all of your buddies that are dressed as Nordic Vikings, and all of a sudden everybody can see each other,
Oh,
and everybody's
that's so
paying attention.
cool. Yeah.
It's a wild experience to be a performer in that kind of environment, because it's like you're performing on a stage with 1,000 audience members, and all of the audience members are also in a way performing,
Hmm.
because they
Hmm.
too are doing their own performance piece.
Hmm.
So it's just this wild immersion of you're performing to people who are also kind of performing to you
Uh-huh.
simultaneously, which is just that's just not an experience that you get otherwise.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Like everyone is getting to put on a different character.
Hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything that you don't like about doing it?
Um, Yeah, the dust.
Uh-huh.
Have I'm assuming you go to Ren fairs.
I
I'm
actually
assuming you.
haven't been.
What?
I
What do
know
you
my
mean?
co-host goes, and I was gonna go to the Georgia festival this weekend, and now I'm not able to. So I'm still trying to go.
You are grounded. You are so grounded. Okay, so Renaissance Festival. You've got to go.
I
Everybody has to
will.
experience it at least once. And, you know, even if you don't have like a full costume or a whole getup or whatever, it doesn't really matter, you know.
Uh-huh.
But once you get into those, get behind those gates, you're transported to this whole environment, this whole living, breathing existence that is so difficult to describe until you've been there and seen it. And it's hard to say what one doesn't like about a Renaissance
Mm.
festival. Some people would be like, oh, I don't like paying $20 for a turkey leg, or I don't like porta potties because
Right,
a lot of
yeah,
them are
yeah.
like that, or whatever. And those are insert creature comforts here. But I think the reward that people get to go to a Renaissance festival is such a memorable experience that it's unlike anything else that you're going to do. You go to a Renaissance festival and all of a sudden you get pulled into a fairy circle and you're dancing with a bunch of orcs while well, then you get whisked away to like some pirate stage and all of a sudden they're twerking on your table and then the next thing you know, you're in a hidden tequila speakeasy and you're drinking with a king. Like, what?
Oh, that sounds so fun. I know. I need to go. That sounds awesome.
You've got to. This is criminal. You absolutely must. I cordially invite you to any Renaissance festival in your nearest location. Go and just find out.
Oh, I will. Do you have any like a crazy story anecdote you can tell me?
Oh my God, where do I even start? Where do I even start? Just the other day, I was attacked by a raven. That was fun.
At the
Well,
festival?
well, okay, so I can explain. My a really dear friend of mine, her name is Danny. She is a washing well wench. She originally started in Florida and created the Washing Well Wench show, which travels all over the country. There's a Washing Well Wench show in almost every Renaissance festival across the country.
Whoa.
And it is a huge operation, and she is the creator of it. And she's also her partner is a falconer, and so he trains, exotic birds. And so she's raised this raven since he was a little baby named Hugin, and like Hugin as in the Norse mythology, Odin's raven.
Uh-huh.
And Hugin, something people don't know about ravens is ravens are assholes. A raven is a very big bird.
Uh-huh.
And my friend, she lives in this really cool casita, which is like this little home that's built on like a Reni encampment, because Renaissance performers, Renaissance people, artisans, a lot of them often live in kind of commune style
Mm.
arrangements. And
Mhm.
so you'd have like 30 Renaissance participants, performers, etc., living in one area, kind of all helping each other exist, and then traveling to different places. A very nomadic lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so I was visiting. I came over to visit her just the other day after I'd finished my shows, and I walked in the casita, and I was just a little bold, and I raised my arms a little high, and the raven took that as very offensive, and so he decided to corner me in the casita and talk at me.
Oh my God.
Ravens can remember like 40 something words, like human
Whoa.
words, and they can like mimic words.
Uh-huh.
So he was trying to lure me with want water, and it sounds really creepy when he says it. And then he'll come at you and be like, hi, and you're like, oh, don't hit me. um yeah, you never know, stuff just happens. Oh, I also had we had two proposals last weekend on our stage.
Wow.
um yeah, so the show that I run, the Barbarian Bombshells, is it's an adult show. It's like adult oriented, and we have some pretty elaborate scenes. We're technically the most inappropriate show at the Texas Renaissance Festival, so we're we're pretty on the edge there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of inappropriateness one can get into at a Ren fair, but we are one of the higher echelons of that.
Yeah.
But it's all fun and games. We'll make you a warrior by the end of it. And we pull a guy on stage and we go into like a fake battle. And every now and then during our fake battle, we bring out a large dick sword.
Uh-huh.
It's like an oversized, ridiculous, floppy sword that we hand the gentleman. And we'll bring a woman up and we'll give her like a big old club and we'll make them fight invisible enemies with us. And it's like this ridiculous time. And for whatever reason, that seems to be the ideal time that people have decided when to propose to their girl.
God.
And so we had 2 proposals occur where we're all fighting, it's all fun and games, and then next thing you know, he throws the dick sword down and he's like, will you marry me? And I'm like, man, nothing says romance like a giant swinging dick sword. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's adorable, and the people that live that kind of lifestyle, I mean, honestly, this is like, that's like a huge deal, because people be like, oh yeah, I proposed to her at the at the bombshell show, and we'll have people that will come back. Like even this year, we had a woman that came back to us this year. She got proposed last year. She came back this year. She's pregnant. She's like,
God.
this is your fault. And I was like, hey, that is my fault.
That's
Sweet.
so funny. Impregnated at the barbarian bombshell.
The bombshells knocked me up. Hey, you're welcome. Yeah, we're a time. I also run a Viking vixen show, like a Viking dating game show.
Oh, fun.
So we travel around and we do interactive dating games at Renaissance festivals. So I have a ye old dating game show that's just kind of like overall Ren Fair coded, but our Viking one does really well at like Viking festivals, kind of Renaissance stuff. And so we'll bring 4 audience members onto our stage and we will straight up play like a 70s style dating game show, but all Renaissance.
Oh, very fun.
So that's we're like matchmakers apparently.
Has anyone told you they've like ended up dating?
They absolutely have. We had a last year at a Texas Viking festival, we made a match on stage, and when they win our show, we send them on a date. Like we give them coupons, or we'll give them like free stuff to go and have a date somewhere in the festival.
Oh.
And so they went and they got the little hookah date, and it was cute, and everybody saw them together and was like, oh, you guys are great. And then later that night at the rave, they had like a Viking rave party thing, and apparently they were found hooking up on one of the stages late night. And so the next day someone came to our show and was like, hey, your dating game show really works. And I'm like, that's amazing.
That's a great advertisement for it.
Right. I was like, I'm killing it. We had 3 out of 8 successful dates that like went somewhere out of our show.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Wild.
Cool. Is there anything else you want people to know about Ren Fair performers?
You don't really like set out in your life to become a Renaissance festival performer. I was just working with a buddy of mine a day ago. We were doing a Fire for a music video, and he was doing juggling. And him and I were talking about it because we were talking with this actor, and the actor was in the music video. And the actor does film, right? And it's funny because Renaissance performers get kind of on the tier list where you think of performers, you'll think of like movie stars are at the top, and then you'll think of like, television stars, and then somewhere in there is Telemundo and whatever, and then at the bottom is Ren Fair performers. Like, right below sitcoms, but above stand-up comedians, so I feel good about it. But no, but it's funny because then once people have actually experienced how difficult it is to be a Renaissance festival performer, they realize that tier list gets changed very quickly. And all of a sudden, Renaissance performers are put right up next to movie stars in the level of the capacity that is required to be a Ren Fair performer.
Right.
Imagine that you are performing in the round. So essentially, average performer performs with a stage straightforward audience and or like a camera, and there's nothing behind them. Renaissance festival performer is 360 degrees at all times. You have eyes on you, and you must be in that character as long as you are public facing. So the second you are
Wow. Yeah.
not anywhere behind a stage or behind closed doors, you are that character the entire time. It's like Mickey Mouse. You don't take the head off in front of all the kids, you know?
Totally. Yeah, that's intense.
And so you're doing that for 14 hours a day. And so the endurance of it, as well as being able to maintain that kind of energy and that kind of poise, is in and of itself just like the Olympics of performance world.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that sounds really hard.
You know, and a lot of people don't really, you'll never truly understand that until you've experienced it as a Renaissance festival performer. And you know, like Penn and Teller, the magicians, I'm talking like Vegas
Mhm.
magicians, they were Renaissance festival performers for
Oh, wow.
years,
Yeah.
long before they were, you know, doing stage shows and doing Vegas. And there's a lot of, you know, film actors that came from Renaissance, and Renaissance is the truest, most difficult, sharpening your skills, your acts to become, you know, an actor. Like it is the truest thespian arts.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it, and I think it's a really impressive thing. So when I meet people that are, you know, Renaissance festival performers, especially the kind that like travel and do it full time, I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah.
you're
That's
you're a level buddy,
it takes a lot. Oh my God. Yeah.
you know.
Totally.
So it was wild. So I don't know. I think that's a fascinating thing, and I think the next time you know, somebody goes to a Renaissance festival and they see one of those performers, uh be kind, tip well. They're trying hard and the elements are real, you know.
Yeah.
They're doing it rain or shine, and you know, they don't get to take the head off Mickey Mouse, so they're doing it for you.
Totally. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Really appreciate
absolutely.
you talking to me and sharing all that.
Well,
Great rest of
hopefully
your
we'll see
evening.
you and you can come and
Yeah.
visit us sometime,
Would
and
love to.
let me know when you're in Texas and
I
we'll give you the
will.
grand tour.
So, what stuck out to you from my conversation with Dana?
Okay, a lot. I first of all, we haven't even talked about yet the fact that she works, or we haven't talked about yet the HBO documentary
Yeah, so
about the
true.
Texas Renaissance Fair. If you haven't seen it, I recommend. It's like this really bizarre documentary miniseries produced by, I don't know if it's both Coen brothers or just one, but it has this like weird unsettling tone, I think because they made it.
Oh yeah, I forgot how like trippy the editing is.
It's very like artistic in ways that I'm not complaining, but it's not. There's like definitely some weird shots of stuff in there that you're like, what does this have to do? Like, it's not your average documentary, but it explores the Texas Renaissance Festival and
Which is
talks
the
a lot
biggest in
about
the country.
biggest in the country, and it talks a lot about the guy who runs it, King George, who's like a very kind of troubling figure. So highly
And
recommend that.
and he like incorporated a whole town. So it's like a whole town that where there's people living there full time that work at the festival. And he's also, yeah, it follows like this whole drama with like who's going to succeed him. And also he's just like a really weird guy, like going on sugar baby dates during
And he's
the,
like 85 or
yeah.
something.
So yeah, definitely recommend that doc as
Yeah,
well.
that's a
I think
good
I watched it
documentary.
twice when it came out.
It's like messed up. It definitely leaves you with kind of an unsettling, like a bad taste in your mouth,
Yeah,
I think. But it was also cool to hear that Dana has like such she's seems like she's having a great experience working
for
there and is like
sure.
really grateful to be part of the Fair community. So it also kind of like brightened my perspective on the
Hmm.
Texas Renaissance Fair after watching that show, which was obviously like dramatized, and you know, the average person who's going there isn't like interacting with King
Yeah.
George in a sugar baby contest. But yeah, I mean, things that stuck out to me. I think one thing that really struck me was when she was talking about how Renaissance fairs are, I think, particularly for workers, it's like fantasy, but it's so close to reality that you kind of get to experience like living in a Renaissance
Mhm.
festival while you're there because everyone is like so committed to their jobs. And of
Yeah.
course, if you visit, you also get to experience that fantasy kind of as a reality if you want to go like hard. I mean, it's definitely like choose your own adventure in that respect. But that statement really made me like, I think this is kind of what I'm missing is like, I'm not brave enough. Like listening, I was like, oh, I was such a coward. Like I should have just gone full out and like method acted like some character the whole time I was there. Or it would be so fun to like work at a Ren fair and have like a alter ego persona and just be like all in on it for the season. Like if you're like I'm tired of my phone, like I'm just going to pretend I don't know what technology is, like I don't need it for my job. I am a like barmaid at this Ren fair or I'm like a performer in this show and I can like kind of believe while I'm here that this is my reality because it
Mhm.
is, you know.
I guess it seems kind of like avoidant of the world to do that, but I guess if it's your job, then that is your world.
And it's kind of like artistic, I feel like. Like it's just
Yeah.
commitment to the craft. It's like method acting. Like
Yeah. But she also made it sound like so fun, like just as a patron, like when she was like, and suddenly you're in a group of orcs, like dancing. Like that
yes.
reminded me of Coachella when the monks surrounded us and we're like dancing. I'm like,
Totally.
oh, if that's what the Ren Fair is like I'm really itching to go now.
No, I that statement also really struck me and I was honestly that's like not the experience I had at the Northern California Renaissance Fair. I'm not trying to put shade on them. I think it's just a very well organized like kind of formulaic daytime
Yeah.
event. But yeah, her being like you're in a fairy circle dancing and then there's a pirate twerking on your table and then you're in a tequila speakeasy with the king. Like I didn't really have very many like improvisational moments there other than like that guy talking about my beard. So I think it would be really fun to go to a Ren fair where you like lock in and like there's
Or
just
you're
more
like
kind of
having like a
different
night out.
opportunities. Yes. A night out with like a big squad of girlfriends you trust who will like keep you
We
safe.
should do this for your bachelorette party.
Dude. I mean, people are definitely doing it, but that's an interesting idea. Yeah, I want to experience that day so badly. Also, like we should go to the Texas Renaissance Festival and we should hit her up and see if she can
She said
show
open
us around.
invitation. I
She
was also
did.
like dead when she said I was grounded.
I know. She was kind of being bawdy with you. Like,
Yeah, she definitely was. She had a hot
yes,
voice.
she did. I mean, she has a hot voice. It's part of her job. She's one of the
True.
the what are they called? The
The barbarian bombshells.
yeah, she's a barbarian bombshell. It's like I have to have a
Really.
hot voice. It's my work.
She got scouted from her voice and her looks.
Dude, new like thing to keep in mind when I'm doing karaoke.
My like dream when I'm like doing something really low stakes that's like performing, I'm like, someone's gonna go up to me and be like, wow, like you're really good.
Have you considered being a barbarian bombshell? I kind of feel like that's only the type of thing that would happen in a city like Houston that's adjacent to the like country's biggest
Mm,
Renaissance Fair
yeah.
festival.
Yeah.
I also thought it was funny how she said everyone is like so disconnected and people can like barely make eye contact with people anymore and then you go to the Ren fair and it's like it really is kind of like talking to strangers like ripping the band-aid off like not interacting with anyone and then going to this thing where people are just like saying whatever the hell they want to you and yeah I don't know it's
Yeah,
just an interesting thing.
that is interesting. What really struck me was how she said, as a performer, you're performing, but also the audience is performing, which seems like a really unique situation because everyone, I mean, probably not everyone, there's just people that go in like their regular clothes and aren't that invested, but a lot of people there are doing like their own performance and might
Totally.
be
I
like acting
definitely
in
am.
character and are dressing in a way they wouldn't normally dress, which definitely seems nice as a performer to have more of that reciprocity.
100%. And I have two thoughts on this. First, I was thinking about you doing Ariel during this, and I was like, yeah, that would be like so lit if like at Den's Ariel, everyone just felt like completely emboldened to be like, huzzah! Every time she did like a big drop and like doing crazy shit. Like, you definitely, it's really fun to be in the
People start
crowd.
like
And
just like doing like handstands and somersaults.
yeah, they're really performing. They're like kind of making it about them. But also, it's like, once again, this is reminding me of another scene. I feel like this is kind of Rocky Horror coded. Like it's like performing with the understanding that
Yeah,
you're going to have a really engaged audience who's kind of like doing
true.
their own thing. But yeah, I think it's really, that's a cool thing about it. And I think that like the mark, like I want you when you go to a Ren fair to have that experience. I think it's like really fun when everyone around you is like also performing, and it's less fun when people are in like jeans.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Okay, the proposals, crazy. The fact that all these men are proposing to their ladies in this like dick themed with the floppy dick sword is so funny. And that is Bob cheese. If you
Totally.
no chug the chuggy, okay, the least chuggy engagement of all time is a Renaissance Fair dick sword engagement. And the interactive dating show at the Ren Fair sounds so entertaining. Like I would love to watch that show.
Same.
That would be like, I want that on Netflix now. I need it.
I love that
Um,
people were they were just like making out later at the rave.
so crazy. So body. There's just so
That's
much
like
pent up sexual energy there.
and like that is like really going in committed to having crazy experiences, to go single and meet someone that you're going to hook up with at like, the Renaissance rave.
Yeah. It sounds awesome. It sounds like a crazy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't believe that story. It's so fun. And I cannot imagine. We really, dude, we should go to the Texas one. I think that it's just a different, it's like a whole league of its own.
I just can't imagine how big it must be. Like it must be like you need like multiple days or like whole day and whole night to explore, like to get out of like what's just near the entrance.
Yeah, I think so. I also feel like probably in some ways, because it's so established, there are things about it that would once again disappoint me. Like there's going to be like real walls on the buildings and stuff, probably for
Mm-hmm.
like some of the bathrooms and stuff. I want it to be like Oregon Country Fair, like no walls, we're in the woods and everyone has like crafted their stands, but also like it's sprawling and huge and there's nighttime raves and I feel completely immersed in the experience, and I don't see like any sign of modern society all day.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want for my bachelorette party. Also, her comments about like how no one sets out wanting to be a
Mm-hmm.
Renaissance Fair performer, I thought that was kind of funny because I feel like I agree with her in some ways, but I also think like it is kind of the sort of thing that I think maybe kids want to do, and then you don't want to do it when you're like a young adult for the most part. Like normies don't want to do it when they're a young adult and are like, getting into the rat race and the grind and
Mm-hmm.
applying to college. But now, at least personally, as someone in their late 20s, I'm like, oh, I would love to work at a Renaissance fair instead of like going to my desk job every day. So it's kind of like I feel like I've
Yeah.
lived like the life cycle of how I think about that, like
And
as an
I
ambition.
also was thinking when she said that, I'm like, well, I feel like definitely people growing up would want to do that. But I also think she meant more like people that want to be like professional entertainers. Like if you want to be like an actor or something, your dream
Right.
probably isn't going to be to work at a Renaissance fair, even though to her point, like it actually requires so much skill to be on like all
Totally.
day while you're like basically doing improv for a lot of the day because you don't know what people are going to say to you.
Yeah, no, she sold me. Like, I'm like, yes, truest thespian art is Renaissance fair, not taking the mouse head off. I was trying to think about, is there anything that you think you do that's like not taking the mouse head off?
Yeah, I want to start using that as like a metaphor for like
Yeah.
having your mask on like to the world.
Okay. Someone who I think like really keeps the mouse head on is Sabrina Carpenter. I was thinking about her
Oh, yeah.
recently and I was like, is Sabrina Carpenter ever like picking her nose when she's watching a movie with her boyfriend? I feel like no.
Or people like Nathan Fielder where they're like always doing the bit.
Yeah, Nathan Fielder is really keeping the mouse head on too.
Yeah.
And like the wig, like she always has the wig on. That's basically
Yeah,
the mouse head.
that's true. When Chappell Roan is like, if I'm in drag, like I'm doing my job and you can take pictures of me, she's like, when I take the mouse head off, like, no pictures.
Don't fucking talk to me when the mouse head is off, you freaks. The mouse head is off. I'm glad you thought of Nathan Fielder though, because I don't want to give our listeners the impression that only women have to keep the mouse head on all the time.
Yeah, it's exhausting to always pretend to be autistic. Do you want to do the game?
Yeah. Okay, for context, Den and I thought we could each bring a few names to the table and then we were going to say what we think they would be at a Renaissance fair.
Like either like how like would they be a patron, a performer, like how would they be acting?
Yeah. Patron, performer, and if they're a performer, what kind of performer they would be.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Okay. I have two really good ones. Okay, I'm gonna go with Zohran Mamdani.
Stop. I was going to say Zohran Mamdani. No, that's okay. I'm totally prepared because I thought through exactly.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, who's not an actor or a singer who's like famous?
I can't, dude, we are so aligned. I can't believe we were both going to do Zohran Mamdani. That's name a woman. Okay. I think Zohran would be in a like Men in Tights, like swashbuckling comedy. And it's like a variety show. So there's like 3 of them and they're wearing like tights and they have swords and they do like choreographed sword dancing routines, but also they like sing songs and they are like funny. And they're not like amazing at the sword fighting or the singing or anything, but they have like big smiles.
Charm.
And they're like charm. Yeah, totally.
So cute. Okay.
Would love to be a performer in the audience of that performance.
Yes. I kind of like I didn't imagine him as a performer, but it would make sense for him to be one because like clearly he loves like attention and being on a stage. But I just couldn't like get out of my head just like an image of him like walking around like holding a turkey leg like with the biggest smile and like looking a little stoned.
I can really imagine that too.
And he's like kind of wearing like a Renaissance outfit, but it's like pretty lazy. And his wife
like
looks really good.
Shirt, like oh yeah, his wife is like giving like dark tree elf, like evil elf. I feel like she looks super good. And he has like kind of a tousled linen collared shirt unbuttoned, but then like his pants are kind of just like khakis.
Yeah, and he is down for whatever, pretty much. Like, he'll go to any show, and then he'll be like, oh, these guys are great.
Yeah, totally. The image of in my mind of him looking a little high with a turkey leg and a big smile is like the chat GPTification of my brain. Like, it has like a kind of soft blurring quality and animated a little bit in the way that like
so funny. Oh no, like
I can
this is
really
how
picture it.
Our mental images are now.
Yeah,
mine's photorealistic.
Nice. Well, you're a true artiste. You've been juggling more than me, clearly. Juggling while I've been on my phone. Okay, my person for you was the president from Scandal.
What's his name again? Like Fitz?
Fitz, yeah.
What is it again? Fits?
Have you seen One Battle After Another yet?
Yeah. Who is
So
he in
he's
it
also in
again?
that. He's like the white supremacist guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't, it's like hard to remember his personality in Scandal.
No, I'm just talking about like the actor.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess I'm kind of talking about. I've never seen the actor like interact with anyone,
You've
so I
never
guess
seen him with the mouse head off?
yeah. So I guess fits with the mouse head on.
Okay. I feel like he would be doing like a serious role. So maybe, I mean, it's hard because I haven't been to a fair, but maybe like a night, like doing some kind of fight. And like he has to like do it for like a maiden.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I agree with that.
Okay.
I think if he's a patron, he would be like kind of stoic, but like he would go and get the mead from the boobs and as it was getting poured into his like mouth or cup or whatever, he would kind of be like giving a hearty laugh and like he would be handsome, but he would be enjoying it, if you know
He
what
would
I mean.
definitely be going to like the horny acts. Yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of like sitting quietly laughing and like smiling. But he's not getting pulled on stage. Well, actually, he could be getting pulled on stage because he's like good looking.
And he's the president.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
He would.
They all do Marilyn Monroe for him.
Yes. Okay. So, is this your scene? And what would you do as a performer at the Renaissance Fair?
Okay, I think that we should say what we would do as a performer, but I think we should withhold whether it's our scene until we do part 2.
That sounds good.
Do you agree? Okay.
Sure.
So you guys are just going to have to stick around, and part 2 is going to be crazy. I think we should insert a little clip at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I'm down.
To a little teaser trailer. But okay, if I was to work at the Renaissance Fair, it's hard because the first time I went to a Renaissance Fair, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna really like finally an event that my natural body was like created for, you know what I mean? Like it's time to wear a busty blouse.
Yeah.
But as I sit here today in my Frodo costume as an effeminate little boy, like this feels a lot better to me than having to be like a busty wench. So all that said, I think that I would want to be. I'm torn because the other day I was watching the new Frankenstein movie and I was struck by this like realization that actors are like the most brave, self-confident, amazing people on the universe. Like it's so bold and brave to be like, I'm gonna act. I'm an actor. So part of me wants to say that if I worked at a Ren Fair, I would go big and be in one of the shows. But I think that the most honest answer is I would dress up like a little elven boy and work at the archery booth.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Okay. I am like, I think I would want to be like an actor that's just not in a show as well, but like stations somewhere, someone that you can interact with and really like trying out my improv skills, I guess. But I don't know what kind, because I also was like, do I want to be like get to be beautiful? But I also looked up.
Do I want to get to be beautiful?
I also was looking up the washing well wenches because Dana mentioned
Yes,
them.
I was thinking about that. That's such a funny.
And I feel like that would be really fun to like.
So what do they do?
Like
Tell me about them.
I don't actually know what they did. I only I'm seeing pictures, but basically they're like just like being ugly and like goofy. Like they're they like have missing teeth and like crazy like sticking out braids. And I think they act like kind of like stupid and like making fools of themselves.
That's fun. It's like you have a really big shield around you. Like people aren't going to
Yes.
mess with you or be body towards you unless you want it. And actually, you can kind of be like body to them if you want, because you're like the
Mm-hmm.
old crone hag.
Yeah, like you get to be lewd. And it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of a shield in the sense that it's like no one can judge how I look because like I'm trying to look ugly.
And no one could judge how stupid I am because I'm trying to be dumb.
Yeah, which is kind of like popular girl doing Lorax, but I get it.
I think if you're really committed to being ugly, it's not popular girl doing Lorax. Like it's like popular girl like because the thing is Lorax, it's still skin tight on the butt. But this it's like nothing would be like that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, washing well wench really made me laugh the first time I heard it because it's just funny to be like my persona is like laundry as a job. Like
In my
I am.
wildest fantasy of what I get to do here, I'm washing clothes.
Okay, that reminds me actually though, the other thing that would be really cool is to be the falconer. That's cool that her partner is a falconer, and I would also really like to do that.
Seems scary after hearing the
Scary,
story.
but like so beautiful, and you would get really into it, and you would like stare at the bird, you know, in a way
You would
that's
not be
so
on your
deep.
phone because you'd be staring at the birds.
Yeah, exactly. And the phone feels like something the bird would want because it's like shiny treasure, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'm excited for part 2. We have lots to discuss and some insider interview that's coming your way. And
Yeah.
in the meantime, make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple, share with your friends. And sorry about missing last episode, but we are back every other week on Tuesdays. And give us a rating, 5 stars if you enjoyed.
Please.
Yeah, that's about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Tune in for next week. But seriously, next week's episode is like, we're going to get down
Tea.
and dirty. We have the tea.
Disrespect and trauma and scandals. Everybody's fucking everybody. I'm just saying.
Watch the HBO documentary before next week's episode so that you're like,
Yes.
that
You're
would be a
caught
good
up
thing to do.
on the
It's our
background.
recommended content. Yeah. All right. Rate, review, share with your friends. And thank you to all the Scenester Sisters. It was so fun having Spotify Wrapped come out this year, our first year of the pod. And it was like really exciting
It
to
was
see all the
fun.
stats of you guys listening. So we love you.
Loved it. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.